Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Recipe of the Week with Cooking Rules with Jules. That's me. My name is Julia Pontanis and I am here to help make your kitchen experience not only easy but also incredibly healthy. So today, as promised, we are making guac. I know it's everyone's favorite and it's super easy to make, only takes a few ingredients and not a lot of time. I have here a sweet onion, half of a lime, half of a jalapeno. These are Hass avocados and they're really ripe. There are also Florida avocados. They tend to be bigger and fatter. Those are lower in fat content, higher in water content. These have the higher fat but definitely a great flavor. I also have here about a cup of cilantro that has yet to be chopped and 1 clove of garlic. So let's get this party started, shall we? I'm going to start by chopping my onion because that's always what I like to do anyways, kind of get the cilantro out of the way. So again, I'm probably only gonna use about half of this. So I'm gonna cut it down in thin strips. I've been working on this same onion all week. I haven't had to use it for a full recipe yet. So I slice it off into little half moons. Then from here, I'm gonna flip it over and just dice it up. So I want the pieces of the onion to be really thin, that way it doesn't overpower the avocado. There's nothing worse than biting into a huge chunk of something that overpowers the main player in the dish. You could also put tomatoes in your guac. I just don't like to. It gets too runny, I think, but I also don't drain my tomatoes. So, to be continued on the draining of tomatoes tutorials. All right, so I'm gonna give these guys a nice chop and get it into my bowl so they're finely diced. Might as well go with the cilantro next. Now, guacamole is one of those recipes where you have to taste as you go for salinity. And by salinity, you know I mean salt. So too much salt is bad, not enough salt is bland. So we have to figure out which one. All right, so same thing with my cilantro here. I'm just gonna put it in a little pile. And I'm gonna go back with my knife, just rocking motion, chop it up. I already peeled it off the stem. I did that in the Pico Gallo video, so I figured this would just be a quick and easy. So peeled off the stems, slicing it up. And this is a great mid-afternoon snack. I like guacamole on my eggs. I like it on my hamburgers. I like it on my tacos. I like it on pretty much everything. Avocado is just a really delicious food that adds flavor. Okay, so that's all chopped up. Moving right along. See how easy this is? Next, I'll go with my jalapeno. I need to take out the seeds. Hang on. So same thing, I'm gonna cut this really fine, so nice thin strips. Okay, here we go. I'm probably making funny faces again. I realize that I kind of get the thinking face whenever I'm chopping. Oh well. So I'm gonna go over nice and fine with my jalapeno. Oops, look, I missed a few. Into the bowl we go. Make sure I get all that up. Okay. So this is called a microplane, and what it is, think of it like a cheese grater. Has really fine grates on it. So if you wanted to mince something, for example, my clove of garlic here. That's what I'm going to do. That way you don't have chunkiness. So you could do this with ginger. You can do this for like orange zest or lemon zest. You can even do your spices on here. So like if you want some fresh nutmeg or fresh cinnamon, you can grind it on there. And then it just leaves like a little paste. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrape that with my knife. Boop. Get it into the bowl. So far, so good. And now for our friend the avocado. So what I'm going to do is cut along and start at the top, get my knife down to the seed and roll it around so I get 2 even slices, twist and pull. Look how perfectly ripe that is. This is exciting. Tip number 2, I'm going to take the back end of my knife, give it a little karate chop, a little twist, and now I've removed the seed. So I always like to remove, sometimes there's a little bit of a stem at the top there. Just take that out. And you get right along the top of my avocado again, roll it around, twist it open, give it a twist, pull it off, voila. Okay, now from here, if you heard that, that was my roommate sneezing in the background. Allergies are pretty high. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this guy some slice and some dice, because I don't want to over metal an avocado because it will bruise and get watery. We don't want that. Ta-da! Of course you could just scoop it out, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this method today because why not? All right, these are nice and ripe. I've got my spoon. I'm going to follow along, whoops, the inside of the skin and not miss the bowl. Sometimes that happens when they get a little bit too ripe. You'll peel the skin apart like such. Okay, into the garbage. So, yeah, I'm just gonna scoop it out. And start to mix it up. And the hardest part from here on out is going to be figuring out how much salt needs to go in there. Oops, got a little piece of the stem in there. We don't want that. Bye-bye. And I'm going to use a fork to mash this up. There we go. A little bit of a messy project, but that's okay. This could be a fun one for kids too. If you have little people in the kitchen working with you, let them mush up the avocado. So all I'm doing with my fork is kind of like pressing and stirring at the same time. That way I make it into a nice paste. So once I get this about 80% of the way that I want it to look texturally, like so, now I'm going to add in my acid or my lime. So most of the time I like a little bit more lime. I just happen to have a half, so you might need more than a half a lime. You might need a full lime. It also just depends on your preference. Another little fun thing to do, if you happen to have it on hand and you need a little bit more of an acid, I would use a splash of tequila. I've done that before. And when I say a splash, I mean not more than a tablespoonful, because you don't want to ruin your guac. All right, lime juice in, cooking towel, readily available. All right, let's give this guy some salt. Again, I know my grinder, this grinds out really fine. It's always better to err on the side of less because you cannot take the salt out once it's in there. So I'm going to give this a stir. And of course with the lime juice it adds two things. It adds an acid balance to the fat, and it also helps keep the avocado from turning brown and disgusting. So I'm gonna give this a stir. That spoon I used to scrape now becomes my tasting spoon. So I'm gonna just grab a little bit here. Pretty darn close. A little bit more salt. And some pepper. What was I thinking? And in this instance, I only really needed a half a lime, which is awesome because I don't have any tequila. Okay. So here we go. Give it a couple more stirs and voila. That's right about the texture I want. So I hope you learned something new and exciting today with making your guac at home, so don't be afraid. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, tell me why so I can get better at this or do something different. Perhaps you don't like what I'm making. I do have a friend that doesn't like guacamole. Go figure. Anyways, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you know when my videos come out. Every Wednesday is our recipe of the week with more content to come. All right, hope you guys are having a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.